Welcome, dear friends, to a gentle journey through the world of Minecraft, that simple game about placing blocks that became one of the most important cultural phenomena of the 21st century. Tonight, we will explore 125 facts about Minecraft's creation, evolution, mechanics, and enduring magic, told not with excitement but with the calm, steady rhythm of a bedtime story, meant to ease your mind while celebrating the game that has touched hundreds of millions of lives across the world. If you enjoy this peaceful exploration of Minecraft's wonders, please consider subscribing and share with me in the comments where you are listening from tonight and what your first Minecraft memory was. I love hearing the stories of how this game entered people's lives. So settle in, close your eyes when they grow heavy, and let us begin our journey through the infinite worlds that one Swedish programmer dreamed into existence. Minecraft was created by Marcus Persson, known online as Notch, a Swedish programmer who began developing the game in May of 2009 while working full-time at a different company. Notch worked on Minecraft during evenings and weekends, driven by a vision of creating a game that combined the cave exploration he loved from Infiniminer with the complex simulation systems of Dwarf Fortress and the creative freedom of Lego. He wanted to make something that felt simultaneously familiar and entirely new, a game where players could build anything they imagined while also surviving in a world that felt alive and responsive. The earliest versions of what would become Minecraft were so simple that Notch almost abandoned the project multiple times, uncertain whether anyone would find his block-placing game interesting. But something about the core concept, mining resources, crafting tools, building structures, felt compelling enough that he continued developing, sharing early versions with a small community of interested players who provided feedback and encouragement during those crucial early months when the game's future hung in the balance. The game that would become Minecraft was directly inspired by Infiniminer, a multiplayer mining game created by Zachary Barth that featured blocky graphics and mining mechanics. When Notch first played Infiniminer in late April 2009, he was struck by the potential he saw in its simple block-based world and immediately began imagining how he could expand on the concept. Infiniminer itself was discontinued by its creator shortly after release due to source code leaking and the game spinning out of control with unauthorized modifications, but its brief existence planted the seed that would grow into Minecraft. Notch has always been open about Infiniminer's influence, crediting it as the primary inspiration while explaining that he wanted to take the basic concept in different directions, adding survival elements, more complex crafting, and a stronger focus on single-player experience alongside multiplayer. The relationship between Infiniminer and Minecraft demonstrates how creative works build on each other, how inspiration and iteration drive innovation, and how sometimes the most influential version of an idea isn't the first, but rather the one that most fully realizes the concept's potential. Dwarf Fortress, the incredibly complex colony simulation game created by Tarn and Zach Adams, influenced Minecraft's crafting system and Notch's philosophy about emergent gameplay arising from relatively simple interacting systems. Dwarf Fortress is notorious for its steep learning curve and ASCII graphics, but beneath its intimidating exterior lies one of the most sophisticated simulation games ever created, where water flows realistically, where each dwarf has personality traits and relationships, where entire civilizations rise and fall according to logical rules. Notch admired how Dwarf Fortress created infinite stories and situations from its underlying systems without scripting specific scenarios, how players discovered narratives organically through gameplay rather than following predetermined paths. This philosophy of emergent gameplay, creating simple rules that interact in complex ways to generate infinite possibilities, became fundamental to Minecraft's design. The crafting system, where players discover recipes through experimentation or community sharing rather than being explicitly taught, reflects this philosophy. The way hostile mobs interact with the environment and with players creates unique situations that feel spontaneous and memorable. Dwarf Fortress showed Notch that complexity could arise from simplicity, that games didn't need elaborate stories or scripts to create meaning, that players would create their own stories if given the right tools and systems. The very first version of Minecraft, now known as Cave Game, was created over a single weekend in May 2009 and was remarkably primitive by modern standards. This earliest prototype featured only grass and cobblestone blocks, no crafting system, no mining progression, no survival elements, just the basic ability to place and break blocks in a simple world. Players could fly freely rather than being bound by gravity, and there were no hostile mobs or day divided by night cycles or any of the features we now associate with Minecraft. Yet even this incredibly simple version contained the seed of something special, the satisfying tactile feeling of placing blocks, the way the simple graphics somehow worked perfectly to convey a coherent world, the strange meditative quality of building structures block by block. Notch shared this early version on a gaming forum, and a small number of curious players downloaded it, providing feedback that encouraged him to continue development. That weekend of experimentation, when Notch took a simple idea and made it playable, represents the moment when Minecraft transformed from abstract concept to tangible reality, when one person's vision became something others could experience and enjoy. The first blocks added to Minecraft were grass, stone, dirt, wood, and cobblestone materials that would remain fundamental throughout the game's entire history. These basic blocks established the core loop that would define Minecraft, breaking blocks to gather resources, then placing those blocks to build structures. The simplicity of these early blocks was not a limitation but rather a strength, providing a clear and intuitive introduction to the game's mechanics without overwhelming new players with options. Grass indicated the surface world where you were relatively safe. Dirt was the foundation beneath the grass. Stone made up the underground caves where resources waited. Wood came from trees and provided the first crafting materials. And cobblestone was what you got from mining stone, creating the first resource transformation. This small palette of blocks was enough to create surprisingly complex and beautiful structures, demonstrating the principle that would guide much of Minecraft's development, that constraints foster creativity, that giving players fewer but more versatile options often leads to more interesting results than overwhelming them with specialized tools. The original 5 blocks established the aesthetic that would define Minecraft, the low-resolution blocky style that looked primitive compared to contemporary games, but possessed a timeless, iconic quality that reproduced well at any scale and ran on virtually any hardware. Survival mode was added to Minecraft during its early development, transforming the game from a pure creative sandbox into something with challenge, progression, and genuine tension. The addition of health, hunger eventually, and the need to gather resources to survive created purpose and direction for players who found unlimited creative freedom overwhelming or aimless. Suddenly breaking blocks mattered because you needed materials to craft tools, which allowed you to mine better materials, which let you craft better tools, creating a progression curve that gave players clear short-term goals while maintaining the freedom to pursue longer-term building projects. The inclusion of hostile mobs that spawned in darkness added danger and urgency, making the day divided by night cycle meaningful as you raced to build shelter before sunset. Survival mode transformed Minecraft from an interesting creative toy into a complete game with challenge and reward, tension and relief, fear and triumph. The genius was that creative and survival modes coexisted, allowing players to choose their experience based on mood and preference, ensuring that Minecraft could satisfy both the desire for unlimited creative expression and the desire for challenge and achievement. The balance between these modes, neither privileged above the other, reflected Notch's understanding that different players wanted different things from games, and that Minecraft was strong enough to accommodate multiple valid approaches. Crafting was introduced to give purpose to resource gathering and to create a sense of progression as players discovered new recipes and unlocked new capabilities. The crafting system Notch designed was elegant in its simplicity. Arrange items in specific patterns on a 3x3 grid to create new items while allowing for surprising depth, as more complex recipes required multiple intermediate steps. The decision to make recipes discoverable rather than explicitly taught was controversial, even in early development, with some players frustrated by not knowing how to craft essential items. But this design choice encouraged community sharing, where players would teach each other recipes or consult community-created wikis, fostering the collaborative culture that would become central to Minecraft's identity. The crafting system created aha moments when you discovered a new recipe, when you realized that you could combine materials in ways you hadn't considered, when progression came not from arbitrary level requirements but from your own knowledge and preparation. The tactile, visual nature of crafting, actually arranging items in patterns, made the process feel more concrete and memorable than simply selecting recipes from lists, and the requirement that you needed a crafting table for 3x3 recipes created additional progression and encouraged building workshop spaces within your bases. Multiplayer functionality was added early in Minecraft's development, allowing friends to explore and build together in shared worlds. The addition of multiplayer fundamentally changed how people experienced Minecraft, transforming it from a solitary activity into a social one, where cooperation and creativity could combine in unexpected ways. Early multiplayer was primitive, with frequent desyncing issues, limited player counts, and griefing problems as players destroyed each other's creations. But even with these limitations, playing Minecraft with friends created memorable experiences and stories that single player couldn't replicate. The spontaneous cooperation when multiple players worked on a large building project, the emergent social structures as communities established norms and rules, the pranks and conflicts and alliances that arose naturally from shared spaces. All of this demonstrated that Minecraft's simple systems could support complex social interactions. Multiplayer servers began developing distinct cultures and rules, some focused on creative building, others on survival challenge, still others on competitive minigames built within Minecraft's engine. The variety of multiplayer experiences showed that Minecraft was not just a game but a platform, a foundation on which infinite variations could be built depending on how communities chose to use the tools provided. Mojang, the company that would develop Minecraft and eventually be acquired by Microsoft for $2.5 billion, was founded in September 2009 as a tiny startup with Notch and a few collaborators. The founding of Mojang represented Notch's commitment to Minecraft, the moment when it transitioned from a side project to his primary focus and professional endeavor. The company's name, Mojang, is Swedish for gadget or gizmo, reflecting a playful attitude toward game development that would characterize the studio's culture. In the early days, Mojang operated out of a small office with just a handful of employees, all working on Minecraft while the game was still in alpha and beta, steadily adding features and refining systems based on community feedback. The company's growth paralleled Minecraft's explosive popularity, expanding from a few people to dozens of employees, while maintaining a relatively flat structure that encouraged creativity and experimentation. Mojang's success story, going from a tiny startup to a billion-dollar acquisition in just 5 years, inspired countless indie developers and demonstrated that small teams could create culturally significant games if they had the right ideas and connected with audiences authentically. The alpha and beta development periods of Minecraft were characterized by rapid iteration, with new features being added regularly as Notch, and the growing team experimented with ideas and responded to community feedback. During alpha, which ran from mid-2009 through late 2010, Minecraft gained most of its core features biomes, the Nether, minecarts, boats, beds, and much more. The game was sold at a reduced price during alpha, with the promise that buyers would receive all future updates free, a decision that built goodwill and created a dedicated early community who felt invested in the game's success. Beta began in December 2010 and focused more on polish and balance than radical new features, though significant additions like weather and beds changed how the game felt. The openness of alpha and beta development, where players could see features being added in real time and provide feedback that visibly influenced development, created a sense of collaboration between developers and community that would define Minecraft's development philosophy. Players weren't just consumers, but participants in Minecraft's evolution, and this collaborative relationship fostered loyalty and investment that transcended typical player-developer dynamics. The Halloween update, released on October 31st, 2010, was one of Minecraft's most significant early updates, adding the Nether dimension, biomes, new mobs, and numerous other features that dramatically expanded the game's scope. The Nether was Minecraft's first alternate dimension, a hellish underground realm filled with lava, fire, hostile mobs, and unique resources that couldn't be found in the overworld. The addition of the Nether added vertical progression to Minecraft. You needed diamond tools to mine obsidian to build the portal to reach the Nether, creating clear goals and achievements. Biomes transformed the previously uniform world into a varied landscape with deserts, tundras, forests, and more, making exploration rewarding and ensuring that the infinite worlds felt genuinely diverse. The Halloween update's timing, released during the spooky season, and its inclusion of genuinely frightening new mobs like ghasts, made it feel like an event, creating excitement and buzz that drove new players to try the game. The scale of the Halloween update demonstrated Mojang's ambition for Minecraft, showing that they weren't content to simply refine existing systems but wanted to dramatically expand what the game could be, adding entirely new dimensions and systems that opened up fresh possibilities for players. The Adventure Update, released in 2 parts during September 2011, transformed Minecraft's survival mode by adding experience points, enchanting, strongholds, the end dimension, villages, breeding, and hunger mechanics. This update shifted Minecraft toward more RPG-like progression, giving players long-term goals beyond simply building impressive structures. The hunger system made food meaningful by tying it to health regeneration and sprint ability, creating additional resource management challenges. Experience points and enchanting added power progression that made combat and exploration more rewarding. Strongholds and the end dimension created an endgame structure, culminating in the Ender Dragon boss fight that served as a conclusion to Minecraft's survival arc. Villages populated the world with NPC characters, making it feel less empty and providing structures that suggested stories about who had built them. The adventure update was controversial among some longtime players who preferred Minecraft's earlier simplicity, but it dramatically increased the game's accessibility to players who wanted more structure and clear objectives. The update demonstrated that Minecraft could evolve substantially while maintaining its core identity, that adding complexity didn't necessarily mean losing the openness and creativity that made the game special. Biomes were added to create visual variety and to make exploration meaningful by providing different resources and challenges in different regions. The original biome implementation included forests, plains, deserts, tundras, and swamps, each with distinct appearance, vegetation, and mob spawning rules. Biomes transformed Minecraft's infinite worlds from visually monotonous landscapes into varied environments that encouraged exploration and created natural landmarks for navigation. Finding a desert after hours in forests felt like discovery, like the world had secrets and variety worth seeking. The biome system also created interesting gameplay decisions. Do you settle near a desert for easy access to sand and cacti, or in a forest for abundant wood? Different biomes suited different playstyles and building aesthetics, ensuring that players could find environments matching their preferences. Later updates would dramatically expand the biome system, adding ocean variants, mountain types, cave biomes, and much more. But the original biome implementation established the principle that Minecraft's world should feel diverse and that exploration should reveal new environments rather than infinite repetition of the same landscapes. World generation in Minecraft uses procedural algorithms to create infinite, unique worlds from a single seed number, a technical achievement that makes every Minecraft world potentially different while ensuring worlds remain consistent and explorable. The world generator creates terrain using Perlin noise and other mathematical functions that produce natural-looking landscapes with hills, valleys, overhangs, and cave systems that feel organic rather than randomly chaotic. Each world seed produces a completely deterministic world. The same seed will always generate the same world, allowing players to share particularly interesting seeds with friends or with the broader community. This combination of infinite possibility with reproducibility is technically elegant and creates interesting community activities like seed sharing, where players discover worlds with unusual features and share the seed so others can explore them. The world generator's ability to create compelling, navigable terrain without any handcrafted elements demonstrates the power of procedural generation and has influenced countless other games. The occasional quirks in world generation, floating islands, unusual formations, the infamous far lands in older versions became beloved features rather than bugs, strange glitches that added personality and uniqueness to Minecraft's worlds. Minecraft's official release occurred on November 18th, 2011, at Minecon in Las Vegas, where thousands of fans gathered to celebrate the game's completion and transition from beta to version 1.0. The release represented an arbitrary milestone in some ways, as Minecraft had been fully playable and commercially successful for years during its alpha and beta phases, but it symbolized Minecraft's maturity and Mojang's commitment to it as a finished product. The release version included the End Dimension and Ender Dragon boss fight, providing a technical endpoint to survival mode, while making clear that Minecraft would continue receiving updates indefinitely. The decision to have a physical release event at Minecon, with Notch dramatically pulling a lever to release the game while surrounded by fans, demonstrated how Minecraft had transcended typical game development to become a community phenomenon. The official release generated enormous media attention, with mainstream outlets covering Minecraft's journey from one person's weekend project to cultural phenomenon, introducing the game to audiences who might never encounter it through typical gaming channels. The release version marked not an ending but rather a new beginning, the point where Minecraft was no longer in development but released, where its foundation was solid enough to support years of additional content and updates. The early Minecraft community formed around forums, YouTube, and Reddit, where players shared creations, discoveries, and stories from their worlds, building a culture of collaboration and creativity that would define Minecraft's social impact. Unlike many game communities that focus primarily on competitive achievement or optimization, the Minecraft community celebrated creativity, with players sharing impressive builds, clever redstone contraptions, and survival stories that inspired others to attempt their own ambitious projects. Fan sites like the Minecraft Wiki became essential resources, collectively documenting every block, item, recipe, and mechanic through crowdsourced effort, creating knowledge bases more comprehensive than any official documentation. Forums buzzed with suggestions for new features, discussions about building techniques, and collaborative projects where multiple builders worked together on enormous structures. The community's generally positive and creative focus, especially in the early years, made Minecraft feel welcoming and inclusive, a space where sharing and encouragement were valued over competition and criticism. This cultural foundation established during Minecraft's early years influenced how millions of players approached the game, teaching them that Minecraft was about expressing creativity and sharing experiences rather than simply winning or beating others. Let's Play videos on YouTube, where content creators recorded themselves playing Minecraft while providing commentary, became one of the primary drivers of Minecraft's explosive growth and introduced millions of people to the game. Early Minecraft YouTubers like CNanners, Paul Soares Jr., and Captain Sparkles created content that was simultaneously entertaining and educational, showing viewers how Minecraft worked while embarking on ambitious building projects or survival challenges that demonstrated the game's possibilities. These videos served as effective advertisements for Minecraft, showing potential players what the game offered in a way that static screenshots or descriptions never could. The parasocial relationships viewers formed with content creators, tuning in regularly to follow their ongoing Minecraft projects, created invested audiences who often purchased Minecraft themselves to replicate experiences they'd watched. The rise of Minecraft content on YouTube also demonstrated how gaming content could attract massive audiences, helping to establish gaming channels as legitimate entertainment and paving the way for YouTube's gaming community to flourish. Many YouTubers built their entire careers on Minecraft content, some becoming celebrities with millions of subscribers, demonstrating that a single game could sustain content creation indefinitely when that game provided enough creative freedom and replay value. Minecraft's explosion in popularity during 2010 and 2011 was unprecedented for an indie game, with sales increasing exponentially as word of mouth and YouTube exposure introduced the game to ever-widening audiences. By the time of official release in November 2011, Minecraft had already sold over 4 million copies, generating tens of millions of dollars in revenue for Mojang and establishing the game as a massive commercial success. What made this growth remarkable was that it occurred without traditional marketing or publishing support, purely through community enthusiasm and content creator coverage. Parents bought Minecraft for their children after seeing the creative possibilities it offered. Teachers began using it in classrooms for education, and adults found themselves drawn to its meditative building and exploration. The game's low system requirements meant that almost anyone could play it regardless of their computer's specifications, removing technical barriers that limited access to more graphically demanding games. Minecraft's growth demonstrated that games didn't need massive budgets or marketing campaigns to succeed. That quality and creativity could cut through the noise if a game connected with audiences authentically and provided experiences they genuinely valued. The cultural phenomenon Minecraft became extended far beyond gaming into mainstream consciousness, with Minecraft imagery, terminology, and references appearing in contexts that had nothing to do with gaming. Children wore Minecraft t-shirts, brought Minecraft toys to school, and referenced the game in conversations and creative projects across all aspects of their lives. Minecraft birthday parties became common, with decorations, cakes, and activities themed around the game. Halloween costumes featured Steve heads and creeper outfits. Minecraft appeared in educational contexts as teachers discovered its potential for teaching subjects from mathematics to history through building projects and problem-solving challenges. The game's iconic blocky aesthetic became instantly recognizable, even to people who had never played, similar to how Mario or Pac-Man imagery transcended gaming to become cultural symbols. Minecraft demonstrated that video games could achieve mainstream cultural penetration on par with any other entertainment medium, that a game could become as culturally significant as popular films, books, or television shows, when it resonated deeply enough with audiences across demographics. Educational adoption of Minecraft by teachers and schools worldwide demonstrated the game's potential beyond entertainment, with educators discovering that Minecraft's creative freedom and problem-solving challenges engaged students in ways that traditional methods struggled to achieve. Teachers used Minecraft to teach mathematical concepts through building projects that required calculating volumes and areas, to explore historical periods by having students recreate historical structures and cities, to teach programming through redstone circuits, and later through coding mods. The collaborative nature of multiplayer Minecraft taught teamwork and communication skills as students worked together on group projects. Minecraft's open-ended nature allowed students to approach assignments creatively, expressing understanding through building rather than traditional written work, accommodating different learning styles and intelligences. Mojang eventually released Minecraft Education Edition, a version specifically designed for classroom use, with features supporting teachers and educational objectives, legitimizing and supporting the grassroots educational adoption that had already been occurring. The fact that students actively wanted to use Minecraft for learning, that it required no coercion to engage them with educational content presented through the game, demonstrated that Minecraft had tapped into something fundamental about how people enjoy learning and problem solving when given the right tools and freedom. Redstone, Minecraft's in-game material that transmits power and allows players to create circuits and mechanical contraptions, was added relatively early in development and became one of the game's most surprisingly deep systems. Redstone wire carries power from sources like buttons, levers, and pressure plates to receivers like doors, pistons, and lamps, allowing players to create everything from simple automatic doors to complex computational devices. The Redstone system wasn't initially designed to be Turing-complete, but players discovered that, through creative combination of components, they could build logic gates, memory cells, and eventually entire functioning computers within Minecraft. The technical Minecraft community that formed around Redstone engineering created tutorials, shared designs, and pushed the boundaries of what was possible, building calculators, combination locks, elevators, fully automatic farms, and even simple games within Minecraft. Redstone demonstrated that even relatively simple systems could create extraordinary complexity when players had freedom to experiment and combine components creatively. That Minecraft wasn't just about building structures, but about engineering functional machines. The learning curve for advanced Redstone was steep, creating a progression system where beginners felt accomplished by creating simple circuits, while experts could spend hundreds of hours on elaborate contraptions, ensuring that Redstone remained engaging regardless of skill level. The music and sound design of Minecraft, composed primarily by Daniel Rosenfeld, known as C418, created the game's distinctive, meditative, and sometimes melancholic atmosphere that complemented its simple visuals perfectly. The piano-driven ambient tracks that play randomly while exploring or building are gentle and unobtrusive, enhancing the experience without demanding attention, creating emotional texture without overwhelming the gameplay. Tracks like Sweden, Minecraft, and Subwoofer Lullaby became iconic, instantly recognizable to Minecraft players and capable of triggering powerful nostalgia for time spent in the game. The music's sparse, minimalist composition matched Minecraft's aesthetic philosophy. Simple elements combined to create something greater than their parts, emotional impact achieved through restraint rather than excess. Sound effects were equally important, with the distinctive sounds of breaking blocks, mob noises, and footsteps creating audio feedback that made the world feel tangible and responsive. The creeper's distinctive hiss before exploding became one of gaming's most recognizable and anxiety-inducing sounds. The combination of ambient music and clear, satisfying sound effects created an audioscape that was simultaneously relaxing and engaging, that supported long play sessions without becoming repetitive or annoying, that enhanced Minecraft's meditative quality. The creeper, Minecraft's most iconic mob, was accidentally created when Notch was trying to code a pig model and accidentally mixed up the height and length values, creating a tall, vertical creature instead of a horizontal one. Rather than fixing the mistake, Notch decided the odd-looking creature was interesting and developed it into a hostile mob, adding the distinctive green texture and the explosive behavior that would make creepers simultaneously beloved and feared by players. The design choice to make creepers silent while approaching, then hiss just before exploding, created perfect tension and made every creeper encounter tense, even for experienced players. Creepers became iconic because they forced players to pay attention to their surroundings, because a single moment of carelessness could result in your death and destruction of your builds, because they turned the seemingly safe day into a time of potential danger if creepers spawned in shadows or caves near your base. The creeper's face, with its simple, pixelated, sad expression, became Minecraft's unofficial logo, appearing on merchandise and marketing more than any other mob. The creeper's accidental origin story, that one of gaming's most recognizable characters, resulted from a coding mistake that was embraced rather than fixed, perfectly encapsulated Minecraft's development philosophy of experimenting, iterating, and keeping what worked, regardless of whether it was originally intended. Steve and Alex, the default player character skins in Minecraft, represent every player while also being nobody specific, blank slates onto which players project their own identity. Steve, with his simple blocky features and blue shirt, was the original default skin, his generic appearance making him easy to customize through skin modifications. Alex was added later to provide a more feminine default option with a slimmer arm model, acknowledging that Minecraft's player base was diverse and that representation mattered even in such a simple form. The genius of Steve and Alex is their simplicity. They have no defined personality or backstory, no voice or dialogue, allowing players to imagine themselves as these characters or to view them as avatars rather than predetermined characters. The blocky, pixelated appearance of these skins matched Minecraft's overall aesthetic, while also making them easy for players to modify, with countless custom skins available, allowing players to appear as anything from superheroes to animals to original characters. Steve and Alex demonstrated that player characters didn't need complex designs or elaborate backstories to be effective, that sometimes the best avatar was one that stayed out of the way and let players define their own identity within the game. Villages and villagers were added to populate Minecraft's world with signs of civilization, creating structures that suggested other inhabitants and providing NPCs that players could interact with through trading. The first village implementation was simple generated structures in specific biomes with villager NPCs who wandered somewhat aimlessly and had limited interaction. But it transformed how Minecraft's world felt, making it seem less empty and lonely. Villages provided ready-made shelters for players starting new worlds, offered trade opportunities once that system was implemented, and created emergent storytelling as players decided whether to help villages, exploit them, or build their own settlements nearby. The villagers themselves, with their distinctive sounds and large noses, became beloved characters despite having no dialogue or complex AI. The village system would be dramatically expanded in later updates, adding raid mechanics, different villager professions, and more complex trading systems. But even the initial simple implementation achieved its goal of making Minecraft's world feel lived in rather than completely wild and untouched. Villages suggested history and civilization, implying that the player wasn't the first person to inhabit these worlds, but rather a newcomer to spaces that others had occupied, adding narrative texture without explicit storytelling. The end dimension was added as Minecraft's ultimate challenge, a strange alien realm of floating islands in infinite void where the Ender Dragon awaited as the game's final boss. The end was completely different from the overworld, and Nether in appearance and function stark, empty, otherworldly, with only the dragon and Endermen inhabiting its islands. Reaching the end required finding a stronghold, locating its end portal room, and activating the portal with Eyes of Ender, creating a multi-step progression that made reaching the end feel like a genuine achievement. The Ender Dragon fight was Minecraft's first, and for a long time only true boss battle, requiring preparation, strategy, and careful combat to defeat. Killing the dragon generated a return portal to the overworld and displayed credits, acknowledging the player's achievement, providing closure to survival mode's progression, while making clear that the game could continue indefinitely afterward. The end's alien aesthetic and atmosphere created an appropriate final challenge, a realm so different from the familiar overworld that it felt genuinely epic and climactic. The emptiness of the end, with nothing to do except fight the dragon, was intentional. This was a challenge dimension rather than a place to build and thrive, a test of your preparation and skill rather than another environment to colonize. Microsoft acquired Mojang and Minecraft in September 2014 for $2.5 billion, a massive acquisition that shocked the gaming industry and raised concerns about Minecraft's future among the community. Notch and the other Mojang founders sold the company and stepped away, with Notch expressing that Minecraft had grown beyond his comfort level and that he wanted to return to smaller, experimental projects rather than stewarding a game with hundreds of millions of players. Microsoft's acquisition was initially viewed with skepticism. Would the new corporate owners ruin Minecraft by monetizing it aggressively or changing its core philosophy? Would development slow down, or would Minecraft become a vehicle for Microsoft's other business interests? These fears proved largely unfounded, as Microsoft allowed Mojang substantial autonomy and invested in Minecraft's continued development, rather than trying to fundamentally change what made the game successful. The acquisition provided resources for more ambitious updates, for developing new platforms and versions, and for expanding Minecraft's reach through educational and enterprise editions. Microsoft recognized that Minecraft's value lay in its existing community and gameplay rather than in unproven changes, that the smart approach was to nurture what existed rather than try to reinvent it. The acquisition ensured Minecraft's long-term future and provided stability and resources even as it represented the end of Minecraft as an indie success story and its transition to being part of one of the world's largest corporations. And so we close this first part of our journey through Minecraft's history, having traced the game from one person's weekend experiment through its explosive growth into a cultural phenomenon that transcended gaming to become a genuine cultural force. We have seen how simple ideas breaking and placing blocks could create infinite possibilities when combined with creative freedom and community collaboration. How a game that looked primitive compared to its contemporaries could become the best-selling game of all time because it offered something more valuable than graphical fidelity, true creative freedom, and meaningful exploration. As you drift towards sleep tonight, imagine yourself in those early Minecraft days, spawning for the first time in an infinite world of blocks, the sun setting as you frantically gather wood and build a shelter, not knowing what the night would bring, not knowing that this simple game would capture your imagination for thousands of hours, not knowing that you were participating in something that would touch hundreds of millions of lives and become part of the fabric of 21st century culture. The early magic of Minecraft, when everything was new and anything seemed possible, lives on in every new world, every first night survived, every moment when someone discovers the game for the first time and feels that same wonder that players felt in 2009 when Cave Game first appeared. Sleep well, and may your dreams be filled with infinite worlds, waiting to be explored, with blocks waiting to be placed, with creations waiting to be imagined and built into existence. The crafting system in Minecraft is deceptively simple on the surface, arranging items in patterns on a grid, but it represents a philosophy about discovery, experimentation, and community knowledge sharing that defines much of the game's appeal. Unlike many games where recipes are explicitly taught through tutorials or automatically unlocked, Minecraft originally expected players to discover recipes through experimentation or by consulting external resources like wikis and community guides. This design choice was controversial, with some arguing it made the game needlessly obtuse, while others praised it for encouraging community interaction and making discoveries feel genuine rather than handed to you. The 3x3 crafting grid creates intuitive patterns where tools look like tools. A sword is a vertical line with a stick handle. A pickaxe has materials across the top with a stick handle below, making many recipes guessable through logic and visual thinking. The requirement to craft a crafting table before accessing 3x3 recipes creates progression, ensuring players master basic concepts before attempting more complex crafts. Later updates added the recipe book that displays recipes as you gather materials, compromising between pure discovery and explicit teaching, providing help while still rewarding players who experiment and discover recipes independently before collecting all necessary materials. Mining and ore distribution in Minecraft follow carefully tuned patterns that create progression and reward deep exploration, while making different depths feel distinct and purposeful. Iron ore generates throughout much of the underground but becomes more common at lower levels, creating a gradient where deeper mining is more rewarding without making shallow mining completely worthless. Coal appears abundantly near the surface and throughout caves, ensuring that even new players can find fuel and torches quickly. Gold is rare and appears only at lower depths, making it a precious material that signals you've ventured deep into dangerous territory. Diamond, the most coveted ore for much of Minecraft's history, appears only in the bottom 16 layers of the world, creating clear incentive to dig deep despite the increased danger from lava and difficult navigation in deep caves. Redstone, lapis lazuli, and later additions like emerald each have their own distribution patterns that encourage different mining strategies and exploration depths. The ore distribution creates a natural progression where early mining focuses on establishing basic resources, while later mining requires preparation and risk-taking to reach valuable materials in dangerous depths. The satisfaction of finding diamond after hours of careful mining at the correct depth, the flash of blue in your torchlight, represents one of Minecraft's most dopamine-inducing moments. Cave generation creates Minecraft's most distinctive underground environments, vast networks of tunnels, caverns, and ravines that make exploration feel genuinely adventurous, rather than simply mining in straight lines. Caves are procedurally generated using algorithms that create natural-looking formations with varying sizes, shapes, and connectivity, ensuring that no two cave systems feel identical. Large caverns with high ceilings and multiple levels create vertical complexity that makes navigation challenging and rewarding, while tight tunnels force careful movement and create claustrophobic tension. Ravines, massive vertical chasms that cut through stone layers, create dramatic moments when you suddenly encounter them while mining, forcing you to find ways across or around these natural barriers. Underground lakes and lava pools add hazards and navigation challenges, making caves dangerous even for well-equipped players. The cave generation algorithm occasionally creates unusual formations, floating ore veins, impossible geometry, caves that open directly onto deep underground ravines that add personality and memorable landmarks to exploration. The Caves and Cliffs update dramatically expanded cave generation, with new cave types, larger caverns, and more varied underground biomes. But even the original cave generation created compelling underground environments that made spelunking one of Minecraft's most engaging activities. Mob behaviors and AI quirks create emergent gameplay situations and memorable encounters that wouldn't occur if enemies simply charged at players mindlessly. Skeletons maintain distance while shooting arrows, creating ranged threats that force different tactics than melee zombies who simply approach directly. Creepers silently stalk players before exploding, their behavior creating constant tension as you never know when one might be approaching from behind. Spiders can climb walls, making vertical barriers less effective and forcing different defensive strategies. Endermen teleport when hit by projectiles or when water touches them, making them unpredictable and challenging to fight consistently. Zombies break down doors on higher difficulties, making secure shelters more complex than simply having a door. These behavioral differences create variety in combat and force players to adapt tactics based on which mobs they're fighting. The AI also has interesting quirks and limitations. Mobs generally ignore you if you're sufficiently far away, allowing stealth approaches. Mobs struggle with water and can be easily killed by drowning them in channels. Mobs burn in sunlight if they're undead, creating safe periods during day. Understanding mob behavior transforms Minecraft from game where you simply run from every threat into one where knowledge and preparation allow you to fight effectively or avoid combat entirely through clever manipulation of AI patterns. The day-night cycle creates rhythm and pacing in Minecraft survival, with 20-minute cycles dividing time between safe daylight, when hostile mobs burn or don't spawn, and dangerous night, when monsters emerge and exploration becomes hazardous. The cycle creates natural gameplay loops, where you spend days gathering resources, building, and exploring, before retreating to shelter at night to craft, smelt, or simply wait for dawn. The first night in any new Minecraft world is iconic. The panic as the sun sets, and you realize you need shelter immediately. The hurried construction of a dirt hut or hole in a hillside. The tension as you hear monsters outside your flimsy walls. The relief as dawn breaks, and you emerge to continue playing. Beds allow players to skip night by sleeping, but only if no monsters are nearby, creating decision points about whether to wait out the night or to use darkness for activities like mob farming or mining where surface light doesn't matter. The day-night cycle creates tempo without being oppressive. You can ignore it if you stay underground or build well-lit areas, but if you want to work on the surface, you must respect the cycle and plan accordingly. The gradual transition from day to night, with the sky changing colors and light levels decreasing, provides warning rather than sudden darkness, giving players time to finish tasks and reach safety. Weather systems add variety and atmosphere to Minecraft's world, with rain and thunderstorms creating different moods and affecting gameplay in subtle ways. Rain creates a gray, melancholic atmosphere with distinctive sound design that makes Minecraft feel cozy and safe when you're inside shelter watching rain fall. Rain extinguishes fires, making controlled burns and certain farming methods temporarily impossible. Thunderstorms are rarer and more dramatic, with lightning strikes that can set fires, create charged creepers when they hit normal creepers, or be harnessed with channeling tridents. Rain and storms make it harder to see distant terrain and create immersive weather effects that make the world feel more dynamic and alive. The randomness of weather ensures that no two play sessions feel identical. Sometimes you'll play for hours in clear weather. Other times storms will dominate, each creating different moods and opportunities. Players have varied reactions to Minecraft's weather, with some loving the atmosphere and others finding it annoying enough to disable through commands or sleeping, demonstrating how different players prioritize different aspects of the game. The weather system shows Minecraft's attention to atmospheric details that don't necessarily add major gameplay changes, but significantly affect how the game feels and how players experience their time in the world. Farming and food mechanics create optional but rewarding systems that allow players to establish sustainable food sources rather than constantly hunting animals or gathering random food items. Wheat farming requires finding seeds from grass, tilling soil near water, planting seeds, and waiting for them to grow before harvesting and replanting, a simple cycle that teaches agricultural basics and provides steady food through bread or by feeding wheat to animals. Different crops require different conditions and offer different nutritional values, with carrots, potatoes, and beetroot providing variety and different strategic values. Automatic farms using water flows, redstone timing, or village mechanics transform farming from manual labor into engineering challenges, allowing technical players to create efficient food production systems. The farming system creates opportunities for aesthetic agricultural builds, with fields of crops becoming beautiful elements in bases rather than purely functional spaces. Tree farming for wood follows similar principles, with players creating managed forests or elaborate automatic tree farms that ensure renewable wood supply. The satisfaction of establishing reliable food production, of knowing you'll never starve because your farms provide surplus, represents an important milestone in Minecraft survival, where you transition from subsistence living to established security. Animal breeding introduces genetics light systems, where feeding two animals of the same species causes them to produce offspring, creating renewable sources of food, leather, wool, and other animal products. Breeding requires feeding animals specific foods: wheat for cows and sheep, carrots for pigs, seeds for chickens, creating demand for farming that connects different game systems. Baby animals are adorable and take time to mature, creating satisfaction when you watch your two initial cows multiply into a large herd that provides unlimited leather and beef. The breeding cooldown prevents infinite instant breeding, requiring patience and time investment to build animal populations. Breeding can become an aesthetic activity as much as functional one, with players building elaborate barns, pastures, and animal pens that are beautiful in addition to being productive. The ethics of animal farming in Minecraft, breeding animals solely to kill them for resources, creates interesting discussions, though the abstract nature of Minecraft's animal representation keeps it from being genuinely disturbing the way realistic graphics might be. Some players prefer automated animal farms that kill and collect drops automatically, while others prefer manual farming that feels more connected and intentional, demonstrating how even simple systems support multiple valid approaches based on player values and preferences. The physics of Minecraft are deliberately simplified compared to reality, creating consistent rules that are easy to understand, even if they don't match real-world physics. Water flows horizontally up to 7 blocks from source blocks, creating predictable patterns that players can exploit for transportation, farming, or mob control. Lava flows more slowly and shorter distances, creating dangerous obstacles but also opportunities for dramatic effects and obsidian creation when water meets lava. Sand and gravel obey gravity, falling when the block below is removed, creating collapse hazards but also allowing simple timing-based mechanisms and traps. Most blocks float impossibly when you remove supporting blocks, allowing for floating island builds and impossible architecture that would collapse in reality. The simplified physics create consistency that players can learn and exploit. Water will always flow the same way, that sand will always fall, that stone will always float, making complex mechanisms possible because behavior is predictable. The deliberate choice to keep physics simple rather than realistic means Minecraft runs efficiently and remains accessible to players of all ages, avoiding complex simulations that would require powerful computers or that would make building frustrating when structures spontaneously collapsed. The stylized, game-like physics match Minecraft's overall aesthetic philosophy, where abstraction and simplicity create their own coherent logic that feels right within context, even if it bears little resemblance to physical reality. Redstone mechanics deserve deeper exploration beyond simple introduction, as the system's computational completeness means that anything a computer can do, Minecraft's redstone can theoretically also do, just much more slowly, and requiring vastly more space. Players have built working calculators that can perform arithmetic operations, memory storage systems using repeater locks or hopper clocks, display screens using lamps or concrete blocks, and even full computers running simple games like Tetris or Snake. The most ambitious Redstone creation might be the various working computers built entirely within Minecraft, with CPUs, RAM, and ROM constructed from Redstone components, capable of being programmed and running simple programs. These technical achievements demonstrate that Minecraft's simple components, redstone dust, repeaters, comparators, pistons, observers can be combined according to logic gate principles to create arbitrarily complex systems. Most players never approach this level of redstone mastery, instead using common contraptions like automatic doors, hidden entrances, sorting systems, and simple farms. The beauty of redstone is that it scales appropriately. Beginners can create functional contraptions with minimal knowledge. Intermediate players can build increasingly sophisticated systems, and experts can pursue projects that require genuine engineering knowledge. The community around technical Minecraft, sharing designs, explaining principles, and showcasing incredible builds, creates educational content that teaches real computer science and engineering concepts through practical application in Minecraft's accessible environment. Command blocks were added to support custom map makers and server administrators, providing ways to execute commands automatically based on triggers or redstone signals. Command blocks allow for custom game mechanics, scripted events, teleportation systems, and complex interactions impossible through vanilla gameplay alone. Adventure Map's custom-designed experiences with puzzles, stories, and challenges became possible through command blocks, transforming Minecraft from pure sandbox into a platform for creating entirely different games and experiences. Skilled command block engineers create elaborate contraptions that rival redstone complexity, scripting custom mobs, unique items, special abilities, and game modes that feel professional despite being created with Minecraft's tools. The command block system demonstrates Minecraft's platform potential. It's not just a game, but a game engine, a tool for creating other experiences. The learning curve for command blocks is steep, with complex syntax and need for programming-like logic, but the payoff is near limitless creative potential. Many of Minecraft's most impressive custom maps, from puzzle adventures to complete RPGs to recreation of other games, rely heavily on command blocks to create mechanics and experiences impossible in vanilla survival. The existence of command blocks alongside redstone creates two parallel technical communities: mechanical engineers working with physical redstone systems and programmers working with command syntax, both finding different paths to push Minecraft's boundaries. Potion brewing introduces alchemy-themed systems where combining ingredients in brewing stands creates drinkable potions with various effects. The brewing system requires nether materials, particularly blaze powder as fuel and nether wart as base ingredient, creating incentive to explore dangerous dimensions for utility beyond simple progression. Brewing follows logical trees where base potions are modified with different ingredients to create varied effects. Adding glowstone increases potency, adding redstone extends duration, adding fermented spider eye inverts effects. The combination of ingredients creates surprisingly deep possibility, space where players can craft potions for any situation, regeneration for healing, fire resistance for nether exploration, water breathing for ocean monuments, strength for combat, speed for transportation. The brewing interface with its bubbling animation and 3 potion capacity creates satisfying production feeling, while the ingredient costs prevent potions from being freely spammable, maintaining their special occasion utility. Advanced players create automatic brewing systems using redstone and hoppers, industrializing potion production for serious nether fortress raids or end exploration. The potion system adds RPG-like temporary buffs that complement enchanting's permanent improvements, creating layered progression where full preparation includes both perfectly enchanted gear and appropriate potions for specific challenges. The nether dimension deserves deeper examination beyond simple introduction, as its hellish landscape fundamentally changes how you approach exploration and survival. The nether's ceiling and floor are both solid bedrock with traversable space between, creating a vast cave-like environment filled with lava seas, soul sand valleys, and dangerous mobs. The scale of the nether is compressed 8-to-1 relative to the overworld, meaning traveling 1 block in the nether equals 8 blocks in the overworld, making nether highways efficient for fast travel between distant overworld locations. The nether's aesthetic all red stone, exposed lava, fire, and ominous lighting creates atmosphere unlike anywhere else in Minecraft, a genuinely alien and hostile environment where everything seems designed to kill you. Ghasts floating through caverns shooting explosive fireballs, zombie pigmen that attack in hordes if you hit one, magma cubes bouncing around, blazes in fortresses. Every nether mob is dangerous and requires different strategies. The nether's resources, quartz, glowstone, netherwort, blaze rods, are unique and necessary for various crafting and brewing recipes, ensuring players must brave the dimension despite its dangers. The nether update dramatically expanded the dimension with new biomes, structures, and mobs, transforming it from simple hostile zone into complex environment worth exploring thoroughly, rather than just visiting briefly for specific resources. Nether fortresses are massive generated structures made of nether brick, containing spawners that produce blazes, wither skeletons, and regular skeletons, making them dangerous but rewarding to explore. Finding your first nether fortress is a memorable moment, the dark fortress appearing through the lava lakes and fog, promising valuable loot, but also obvious danger from the mobs you can see spawning inside. Fortresses contain chests with horse armor, diamonds, and other treasures, but the real prize is the blaze spawners, which provide the blaze rods necessary for brewing and finding strongholds. Wither skeleton skulls, rare drops from their namesake mobs, are necessary for summoning the wither boss, making fortresses essential for that content. The fortress layout with long corridors, open bridges over lava, and vertical complexity creates tense exploration, where you never know what's around the next corner, and where fighting on narrow bridges adds environmental hazards to already dangerous combat. Many players build safe highways through fortresses, carefully placing barriers and lighting to create secured routes to blaze spawners and other points of interest, transforming hostile space into controlled farm. The fortresses demonstrate Minecraft's approach to risk-reward, where the most valuable resources require venturing into dangerous environments and overcoming significant challenges rather than being freely available everywhere. The end's sparse beauty and otherworldly atmosphere create one of Minecraft's most visually distinctive environments, though one where most players spend relatively little time compared to the overworld and nether. The main end island, where the dragon fight occurs, is relatively small and purpose-built for that encounter, with obsidian pillars holding ender crystals that heal the dragon and must be destroyed. After defeating the dragon, end gateways appear that transport players to the outer end islands, an infinite archipelago of floating islands separated by void, where end cities and elytra can be found. The end's color palette, yellow-green end stone, purple chorus plants, black void, creates alien landscape unlike anywhere else in Minecraft, beautiful in its starkness and simplicity. Endermen are the only mob spawning naturally, creating strange encounters where these tall creatures teleport around, making their characteristic whoop sounds, generally ignoring players unless provoked. The end feels genuinely like a final dimension, a place you go to overcome challenges, rather than a place to colonize and thrive. Though some players do build bases in the end for its unique aesthetic and easy Enderman farming, the silence and emptiness of the end creates contemplative atmosphere, a place where you're truly alone, except for the Enderman, where the stakes feel highest because you're so far from home, and because falling into void means permanent item loss. End cities are the primary reason to explore the outer end islands, tall structures made of purple blocks containing valuable loot including diamonds, enchanted gear, and most importantly, elytra. End cities generate on large outer islands and feature vertical design with multiple levels connected by ladders and parkour sections, requiring careful navigation to explore fully. Shulkers, immobile mobs that hide in shells and shoot levitation projectiles, make end cities dangerous, as their levitation effect can send you floating uncontrollably, potentially off the island and into void. The city's multiple levels and maze-like interiors create exploration challenge where you must carefully clear each floor, dealing with shulkers while avoiding levitation death. Some end cities feature end ships, floating ship structures nearby that always contain elytra in their treasure room, making these ships incredibly valuable finds. The combination of parkour challenges, shulker combat, and valuable rewards makes end cities compelling endgame content that requires both skill and preparation. Many players bring multiple spare sets of gear to end exploration, accepting that deaths may occur, but ensuring they can recover and continue exploring. The architectural style of end cities, with their towers and bridges and ships, suggests mysterious civilization that built these structures, adding narrative intrigue through environmental storytelling without explicit explanation. Ocean monuments are massive underwater structures guarded by guardians and elder guardians, containing sponges and gold blocks but primarily serving as challenging combat arenas that test underwater capabilities. Monuments are made of prismarine in various forms, regular, brick, and dark, creating beautiful architecture that looks organic and temple-like. Guardians attack with laser beams that deal continuous damage while targeting you, creating distinctive visual and gameplay feel. Elder Guardians inflict Mining Fatigue 3, a powerful debuff that makes breaking blocks extremely slow, preventing you from easily tunneling into the monument and forcing proper engagement with its layout and defenders. Conquering an ocean monument requires preparation, potions of water breathing, armor with depth strider, weapons for underwater combat, and careful tactics to locate and kill the 3 Elder Guardians before clearing the rest of the structure. The reward for clearing a monument is the Conduit, a powerful item that provides permanent water breathing and underwater vision in a large radius when properly placed, dramatically improving ocean-based activities. Ocean monuments represent Minecraft's environmental variety and challenges, where not all difficult content is in the Nether or End, but some requires mastering underwater mechanics that many players otherwise ignore. The monument's beauty and unique aesthetic make them worthwhile to preserve after clearing, with some players draining them or incorporating them into ocean bases. Woodland mansions are massive, rare structures that generate in dark forest biomes, containing unique hostile illager mobs and valuable loot including totems of undying. Mansions are enormous, with multiple floors, dozens of rooms, and complicated layouts that take significant time to explore completely. Vindicators wielding axes and evokers summoning vexes and fang attacks create dangerous combat encounters, particularly when multiple illagers attack simultaneously in confined mansion corridors. The mansion's generated rooms include libraries, dining halls, bedrooms, jail cells, and strange secret rooms with unique features like mushroom farms or tree-growing rooms, creating variety that makes each mansion feel slightly different. Totems of undying, obtained from evokers, provide one free resurrection when held, automatically saving you from death once before being consumed, making them incredibly valuable for dangerous activities. The rarity of mansions, they can be thousands of blocks apart, makes finding them an adventure, requiring exploration maps purchased from cartographer villagers. Once found, mansions represent enormous quantities of wood and decoration blocks that can be harvested, making them valuable even beyond their unique loot. The mansion's size and complexity creates exploration that feels genuinely adventurous, clearing a massive hostile structure room by room, never knowing what's behind the next door. Strongholds are generated structures that contain the end portal room necessary for accessing the end dimension, making them crucial for progression toward fighting the Ender Dragon. Finding strongholds requires crafting and throwing Eyes of Ender, which fly in the direction of the nearest stronghold before falling, creating a navigation puzzle where you follow the eyes across thousands of blocks. Strongholds generate underground, usually beneath normal terrain, requiring extensive digging to locate even after Eyes of Ender indicate you're at the correct location. The stronghold's stone brick corridors, libraries, and prison cells create maze-like environment filled with silverfish spawners and dead ends. The end portal room, with its lava pool, silverfish spawner, and portal frame requiring 12 Eyes of Ender to activate, creates climactic moment where you're finally able to access the end after potentially hours of preparation and exploration. The Stronghold's library can contain valuable enchanted books, making it worth exploring thoroughly beyond just finding the portal. Some strongholds generate incomplete or with bugged portal frames, creating frustrating situations where accessing the end becomes complicated or requires creative solutions. The Stronghold Search represents a transition point in Minecraft progression, where you shift from building and resource gathering toward focusing on defeating the dragon, where the endgame structure becomes clear and you work systematically toward that ultimate goal. Mineshafts are sprawling generated structures consisting of wooden tunnels, rails, and minecarts, creating ready-made mining infrastructure that feels like abandoned work from previous miners. Mineshafts generate underground throughout the world, sometimes intersecting caves to create complex three-dimensional environments. The wooden supports throughout mineshafts provide easy wood source underground, useful when you've been mining long enough that returning to the surface for wood is inconvenient. Cave spider spawners in mineshafts create dangerous encounters in confined spaces, with the poisonous cave spiders being smaller and faster than regular spiders. Chest minecarts scattered through mineshafts contain random loot, from food to ores to enchanted books, creating treasure hunting opportunities during exploration. The rails in mineshafts can be collected for your own minecart systems, providing infrastructure resources without needing to craft rails from scratch. Abandoned mineshafts suggest narrative who built these extensive mining operations. Where did they go? Why were they abandoned? Without ever explaining explicitly, allowing players to imagine stories behind the structures. The intersection of mineshafts with caves and ravines creates spectacular junction points where multiple systems meet, creating memorable navigation landmarks and complex three-dimensional spaces to explore. Desert and jungle temples are surface structures containing traps and treasure chests, providing adventuring opportunities and testing player observation and puzzle-solving skills. Desert temples have distinctive pyramid shape and contain 4 treasure chests in a hidden chamber beneath the floor, protected by a pressure plate trap that triggers TNT if you're careless. Jungle temples have puzzle mechanisms with 3 levers that must be pulled in the correct combination to open a chest, adding mechanical challenge to what might otherwise be simple looting. Both temple types represent early game adventuring content, providing valuable loot and interesting encounters without requiring extensive preparation or gear. The traps teach players to watch for pressure plates and tripwires, introducing the concept that not everything in Minecraft is safe and that observation prevents painful mistakes. Temples also provide distinctive building blocks like sandstone and mossy cobblestone, making them valuable even beyond their chest contents. The compact size of temples makes them manageable for newer players while still feeling like meaningful discoveries, creating satisfaction from finding and conquering these structures without the overwhelming scale of ocean monuments or woodland mansions. Villages across different biomes showcase Minecraft's procedural generation, adapting architecture to environment, with desert villages using sandstone, plains villages using oak, taiga villages using spruce, and savanna villages using acacia. The variation ensures villages feel appropriate to their surroundings while maintaining functional consistency. Houses, farms, wells, and other structures appear regardless of biome, but materials and details change. Villages provide ready-made shelter and resources for new players, sometimes appearing near spawn and giving immediate structure to what might otherwise be overwhelming blank slate. Villagers themselves add life and purpose to villages, with different professions indicated by clothing and providing different trades. Village mechanics receive major updates over Minecraft's development, with the Village and Pillage update dramatically improving villager AI, expanding village structures, and adding raid mechanics that made villages dynamic spaces, requiring defense rather than static resource sources. Many players build their main bases in or near villages, either using existing structures or building alongside them, creating organic settlements that blend player construction with generated buildings. The villages suggest community and civilization, making the world feel inhabited and less lonely, providing narrative seeds about who these villagers are and why they need the player's help defending against raiders. And so we close this second part of our journey through Minecraft, having explored the mechanical systems and mysterious structures that give the game depth beyond simple block placing. We have seen how simple rules create complex possibilities, how procedural generation creates endless variety and exploration, how combat and survival systems add challenge without overwhelming the creative freedom that makes Minecraft special. As you drift deeper toward sleep, imagine yourself deep underground, torches lighting stone corridors you've carved, ore veins glinting in the light, the distant sounds of water and lava, the peaceful solitude of mining where time loses meaning, and you enter flow state, pickaxe striking stone in steady rhythm, inventory gradually filling with resources that will become tools and buildings and whatever your imagination can construct. The mechanical depth of Minecraft, the systems layered upon systems, ensures that there's always something new to learn, some interaction you hadn't considered, some technique to master that makes familiar activities more efficient or more satisfying. Sleep peacefully knowing that Minecraft's world waits patiently for your return, that your mines will still be there, that your farms will still grow, that the next adventure is always ready to begin whenever you choose to continue playing. Bows in Now, the update Aquatic, released in 2018, transformed Minecraft's oceans from empty expanses of water into vibrant underwater environments filled with life, structures, and reasons to explore beneath the waves. Before this update, oceans were largely featureless, with only occasional monuments breaking up vast stretches of water that players typically crossed as quickly as possible rather than exploring. The update aquatic added coral reefs in warm oceans, kelp forests in cold oceans, icebergs, shipwrecks, buried treasure, dolphins, turtles, fish schools, and drowned zombies, creating underwater biodiversity that made oceans feel alive and worth exploring. The conduit power source provided permanent water breathing and vision in large areas, making underwater building viable for the first time. Tridents became powerful weapons with unique enchantments that worked specifically in water or rain. The swimming mechanics were completely overhauled, replacing the awkward bobbing of previous versions with smooth swimming animations that made underwater movement feel natural and enjoyable. The transformation was so complete that oceans went from being obstacles to destinations, areas where players could build bases, explore ruins, and discover treasures hidden beneath waves that had previously concealed nothing but empty water blocks and occasional squids. The Village and Pillage update in 2019 completely overhauled villages, villagers, and village mechanics, transforming these settlements from simple generated structures into dynamic locations with gameplay systems built around them. Villagers received visual updates that made their professions immediately identifiable through clothing, and their AI was completely rewritten to make them feel more alive and purposeful as they went about daily routines. The trading system was expanded and improved, with villagers leveling up through trades and unlocking better deals, creating progression systems around village interaction. New village building types and variations made villages more diverse and interesting architecturally. Most significantly, the update added raids, coordinated attacks by pillager groups that players had to defend against, creating tower defense gameplay where you protected villagers from waves of hostile mobs. Successfully defending raids granted the hero of the village effect, providing trading discounts and gifts from grateful villagers. The update transformed villages from passive scenery into active gameplay spaces where player interaction mattered, and where defending your village created genuine emotional investment in these NPC communities. Many players began building elaborate defensive structures, creating walls, golems, and strategic planning around village defense, engaging with systems that hadn't existed in previous versions. The Buzzy Bees update in 2019 added bees, honey, and beehives, introducing adorable pollinating insects that brought new farming mechanics and demonstrated Minecraft's growing environmental consciousness. Bees pollinate flowers and crops, making farms more efficient when bees are present and creating symbiotic relationships between beekeeping and agriculture. Honey blocks introduced new redstone possibilities with their sticky properties and ability to slow movement, while honey bottles provided food and cured poison effects. The update was relatively small compared to major updates, but had outsized impact through its charm. The bees were immediately beloved by the community, their fuzzy appearance and gentle buzzing sounds making them feel friendly, despite being capable of stinging if provoked. The beekeeping mechanics encouraged players to create apiaries and flower gardens, adding pastoral beauty to bases while providing functional benefits. The updates focus on a small, polished feature set rather than sprawling additions, demonstrated that Minecraft updates didn't always need to be massive overhauls, that sometimes focused improvements to specific areas created more satisfying experiences than attempts to change everything at once. The environmental themes, preservation of bees, their importance to ecosystems aligned with real-world conservation concerns, showing how Minecraft could gently educate about ecological principles through engaging gameplay. The Nether update in 2020 was one of Minecraft's most dramatic transformations, taking the Nether from a relatively simple hellscape dimension into a complex realm with multiple biomes, new structures, and completely revamped gameplay. The update added 4 new biomes: Crimson Forests with red fungi, Warped Forests with blue fungi, Souls and Valleys with exposed fossils and dangerous terrain, and Basalt Deltas with difficult navigation through basalt columns. Each biome had distinct appearance, ambient sounds, and mob spawns, making Nether exploration varied and interesting rather than monotonous. Bastions, large fortress-like structures inhabited by piglins, provided new structures to explore with valuable loot, including ancient debris, the material needed for netherite equipment. Netherite represented the first equipment tier beyond diamond, requiring enormous investment to obtain but providing better durability, damage, and the unique property of not burning in lava. Piglins introduced bartering mechanics where throwing gold ingots to piglins resulted in random item trades, creating a new way to obtain certain resources, including soul speed enchantments. The update transformed the Nether from a dimension you visited briefly for specific resources into a place worth extensive exploration, where you might spend hours mining ancient debris, trading with piglins, and exploring the varied biomes that each offered different challenges and aesthetics. Caves and Cliffs was announced as a single massive update, but was split into 2 parts, released in 2021 and 2022, due to its ambitious scope and the challenges of developing during the pandemic. The update promised to transform cave generation and world height, adding new cave types, underground biomes, and dramatically increasing both the height limit and depth of worlds. Part 1 added new blocks, mobs like axolotls and goats, and copper as a new ore that aged with time, turning green through oxidation stages. Part 2 implemented the world generation changes, doubling world height to allow mountains that reached far higher than previously possible, and caves that descended far deeper, with multiple underground layers, creating complex, 3-dimensional cave systems. Lush caves with flowering plants and drip leaf blocks created beautiful underground gardens, while dripstone caves with pointed dripstone formations created navigational hazards and aesthetic variety. The deep dark biome was added as the deepest layer, featuring skulk blocks that spread like organic growth, and ancient cities with powerful loot, but also the terrifying warden mob. The scope of Caves and Cliffs demonstrated Minecraft's ongoing ambition to improve and expand even after more than a decade of development, that the team was willing to undertake massive technical challenges to improve core systems rather than simply adding surface-level content. The Wild update in 2022 added mangrove swamps, deep dark cities, the warden, frogs, and various quality of life improvements that continued Minecraft's evolution. Mangrove swamps introduced a new tree type with distinctive root systems that created elevated forests above water, providing unique building materials and beautiful natural architecture. The warden became Minecraft's most dangerous mob, a blind creature that tracked players through sound and vibrations, capable of killing even fully enchanted players in just 2 hits. The warden couldn't be killed easily. It had 500 health and hit incredibly hard, encouraging stealth and avoidance rather than direct combat. Ancient cities in the deep dark contained incredible loot, but required careful navigation to avoid triggering skulk shriekers that summoned wardens, creating genuine horror game tension as you sneaked through dark corridors hoping not to make noise. Frogs added life to swamps with their jumping animations and ability to eat small slimes, producing frog lights in different colors depending on frog variant. The update continued Minecraft's pattern of adding content that expanded what was possible, new biomes to explore, new building materials to use, new challenges to overcome, while refining existing systems and improving the overall experience through countless small improvements that individually seemed minor, but collectively made the game feel more polished. The snapshot system allows Mojang to release early development versions of upcoming updates, giving the community chances to test features, report bugs, and provide feedback before official releases. Snapshots are released regularly during development cycles, sometimes weekly, allowing dedicated players to follow development closely and see how features evolve through iteration. The system creates transparency around development, letting players see that features don't spring fully formed, but go through extensive testing and refinement. Community feedback through snapshots has influenced numerous design decisions, with features being adjusted or reconsidered based on player response to early implementations. The snapshot system also serves as quality assurance, with thousands of players exploring new features and finding edge cases and bugs that internal testing might miss. Some players exclusively play snapshots, preferring to be on the cutting edge even if it means dealing with instability and bugs, while most players stick to official releases and experience features only after they've been fully tested. The existence of snapshots demonstrates Mojang's collaborative approach to development, treating the community as partners in creating Minecraft rather than simply as consumers of finished products, fostering goodwill and creating investment in the game's ongoing evolution. Minecraft Realms provides official subscription-based multiplayer servers hosted by Mojang, offering easy multiplayer for players who don't want to deal with setting up and maintaining their own servers. Realms supports up to 10 concurrent players and stores worlds in the cloud, allowing access from any device and eliminating concerns about local hardware or internet connectivity affecting multiplayer experiences. The service includes backup systems, easy world uploads, and admin controls that make managing multiplayer worlds straightforward, even for non-technical players. Realms proved particularly valuable for families and friend groups wanting private multiplayer without the complexity and security concerns of port forwarding and publicly accessible servers. The subscription model provides Mojang with recurring revenue that supports ongoing development while giving players reliable multiplayer infrastructure. Some players criticize Realms as overpriced compared to third-party hosting options that offer more features and customization, but the simplicity and official support make Realms appealing for players who value convenience over advanced features. The existence of Realms alongside community-run servers demonstrates Minecraft's ecosystem approach, where official solutions coexist with community alternatives, ensuring players can choose options matching their technical skill and preferences. Minecraft Education Edition, launched in 2016, adapts Minecraft specifically for classroom use, adding features like classroom management tools, chemistry elements, and pre-built educational worlds. Education Edition allows teachers to join student worlds even after students have started, provides immersive reader support for accessibility, and includes camera and portfolio features for documenting learning. The chemistry features add real elements from the periodic table that can be combined according to actual chemical formulas, teaching chemistry through interactive experimentation. Hundreds of pre-built worlds created by educators cover subjects from history to mathematics to coding, providing ready-made lessons that teachers can use without creating content from scratch. Education Edition demonstrates Minecraft's educational potential when developed intentionally for learning, rather than being repurposed from entertainment-focused versions. The success of Education Edition in schools worldwide, used by millions of students in over 100 countries, validates early adopters who recognized Minecraft's educational value and shows that games can be powerful learning tools when designed thoughtfully. The existence of Education Edition also legitimizes Minecraft in educational contexts, where entertainment games might face skepticism, providing official educational version that administrators and parents can feel confident supporting. The modding community has created thousands of modifications that add new content, change mechanics, improve performance, or completely transform how Minecraft works, demonstrating the game's flexibility and the creativity of its player base. Popular mods like Optifine improve performance and add visual features like dynamic lighting and connected textures, making Minecraft run better and look more polished. Content mods like Pixelmon add entire Pokemon games within Minecraft, while tech mods like Industrial Craft and Buildcraft add complex machinery and automation systems. Magic mods like Thaumcraft and Botania introduce spellcasting and magical progression. Dimension mods add entirely new worlds to explore beyond the vanilla 3 dimensions. Mod packs combine dozens or hundreds of mods into cohesive experiences with progression systems spanning all included mods, creating gameplay that can last hundreds of hours and feel like entirely different games. The modding community maintains wikis, tutorials, and forums supporting new players learning modded Minecraft, creating parallel ecosystem to vanilla Minecraft with its own culture and experts. Some mods have influenced vanilla development, with features like pistons, horses, and various decorative blocks originating in mods before being officially implemented. The thriving mod scene demonstrates that Minecraft's openness to modification adds immense value, that allowing community creativity extends the game's lifespan and appeal far beyond what official development alone could achieve. Popular mods that changed how people played Minecraft include Too Many Items and Not Enough Items, which added recipe browsers that made crafting accessible without consulting external wikis. Feed the Beast was one of the first major mod packs, creating tech-focused progression that appealed to players wanting more complex systems than vanilla provided. Sky Factory popularized Skyblock-style mod packs, where you start on a single tree platform and use mod mechanics to expand, creating unique progression where resource generation, rather than mining, became central. Create Mod added kinetic machinery and mechanical power transmission that felt like engineering rather than magical blocks, appealing to players who wanted technology that operated through visible mechanical principles. Biomes O Plenty added hundreds of new biomes, making exploration dramatically more varied and beautiful. Twilight Forest added an entire magical dimension with structured progression through multiple bosses and areas, creating adventure content with clear objectives. These influential mods showed what was possible within Minecraft's framework, inspiring other modders and sometimes influencing vanilla development, as Mojang saw what resonated with players. The diversity of popular mods, from tech to magic to exploration to quality of life, demonstrated that Minecraft's appeal was broad enough that very different modifications could all find dedicated audiences. Texture packs and resource packs allow players to completely change Minecraft's visual appearance without modifying gameplay, creating infinite aesthetic possibilities from the same underlying game. The default texture pack's 16 by 16 pixel resolution creates Minecraft's iconic blocky appearance, but resource packs can increase resolution dramatically, add animations, change sounds, and make Minecraft look photorealistic or stylistically different. Popular packs like Faithful maintain vanilla's style while increasing resolution, while packs like Sphax Pure Beauty Craft create completely different cartoon aesthetics. Medieval, modern, futuristic, horror, cute resource packs exist for any aesthetic preference, allowing players to customize their experience without learning modding. The ability to easily swap resource packs means players can try different visual styles without commitment, finding aesthetics that resonate personally. Some players prefer vanilla textures for their simplicity and clarity, while others never play without custom packs that make the game look dramatically different. The resource pack system demonstrates good design philosophy. Separating visual presentation from gameplay logic allows aesthetic customization without affecting balance or mechanics, ensuring that all players can enjoy Minecraft's gameplay regardless of visual preferences. The ease of creating resource packs has spawned communities of texture artists creating and sharing packs, building artistic ecosystem around making Minecraft beautiful in countless different ways. Shader mods transform Minecraft's lighting and rendering, adding realistic shadows, water reflections, waving grass, and atmospheric effects that make the game look dramatically more sophisticated while maintaining its blocky aesthetic. Popular shaders like BSL, SUS, and Complementary create gorgeous visuals where sunlight streams through trees, water reflects sky and surroundings realistically, and nighttime looks genuinely dark with dramatic contrast between lit and unlit areas. The combination of Minecraft's simple block shapes with advanced lighting creates distinctive aesthetic, simultaneously blocky and realistic, abstract and beautiful, maintaining Minecraft's identity while adding visual polish. Shaders require decent computer hardware to run smoothly, creating divide between players with powerful computers who can enjoy enhanced visuals and those with modest hardware who stick to vanilla rendering. Screenshots taken with shaders enabled dominate Minecraft's presence on image sharing sites, showcasing the game at its most beautiful and attracting players drawn by visual appeal. The shader community continues developing more advanced and optimized versions, constantly pushing what's possible visually within Minecraft's engine. Shaders demonstrate that Minecraft's simple graphics were choice rather than limitation, that the blocky aesthetic works at any level of rendering sophistication from minimal to photorealistic. Custom maps and adventure mode transform Minecraft into a platform for creating gameplay experiences beyond vanilla survival and creative, with map makers crafting puzzle maps, adventure maps, parkour courses, and complete story-driven experiences. Adventure mode was added specifically to support custom maps, preventing players from breaking blocks except with proper tools, allowing map creators to design spaces where players couldn't simply bypass puzzles by breaking through walls. Command blocks enabled complex scripting that created custom mechanics, NPC dialogue through signs or chat messages, triggered events, and win conditions, giving map makers tools approaching those of game engines. Popular map series like The Dropper challenged players to fall through holes in platforms without hitting edges, while diversity maps combine multiple game modes into single experiences. Complete adventure maps like Herobrine's Mansion or The Code told stories through environmental design and command block scripting, creating narrative experiences within Minecraft's engine. The map-making community developed techniques and conventions, sharing knowledge about effective design and command block usage. Many professional game developers and designers started as Minecraft map makers, learning game design principles through creating custom experiences. The adventure map scene demonstrated that Minecraft wasn't just a game but a platform that its systems were robust enough to support entirely different genres and experiences when wielded by creative designers. Multiplayer servers transformed how many players experienced Minecraft, with large servers hosting thousands of concurrent players in mini-games, competitive modes, and social spaces that bore little resemblance to vanilla survival. Servers like Hypixel became massive businesses, hosting millions of unique players and offering dozens of different game modes, from Bed Wars to Sky Wars to Murder Mystery. The creativity of server owners in using Minecraft systems to create competitive games, social spaces, and economic systems showed the game's versatility. Some servers functioned as MMOs, with progression systems, economies, quests, and social structures more complex than many games designed specifically as MMOs. Others focused on pure creative building, providing plots where players could build freely while being part of larger community. Roleplay servers created elaborate worlds with rules, factions, and storylines where players inhabited characters and participated in collaborative storytelling. The diversity of server types meant that almost any playstyle could find appropriate multiplayer communities, from hardcore survival to casual building to competitive PvP. The server ecosystem created an entire economy around Minecraft, with successful servers generating revenue through optional purchases of cosmetics or perks while providing core gameplay for free. The server scene demonstrated that Minecraft's longevity came partly from its ability to serve as foundation for infinite variations created by communities with different interests and priorities. Hypixel, launched in 2013, became the most popular Minecraft server with tens of millions of unique players and regularly hosting over 100,000 concurrent players. Starting as a collection of minigames, Hypixel expanded into massive operation with custom-coded games, elaborate lobbies, progression systems, and cosmetics. The server's success came from polished execution, regular updates adding new content, and variety ensuring players always had options for different moods. Games like Bed Wars, where teams protected beds while gathering resources and attacking opponents, became cultural phenomena within Minecraft, with millions of players considering these modes their primary way of playing. Hypixel demonstrated that Minecraft servers could become businesses comparable to standalone games, that the platform was robust enough to support professional development, and that players would embrace experiences far removed from vanilla Minecraft. The server's community developed its own culture, terminology, and famous players who became celebrities within Hypixel's ecosystem. The eventual development of Hytale, a standalone game by Hypixel Studios, showed how success in Minecraft could bootstrap entirely new game development, that the skills and communities built around Minecraft servers could transition to original properties. Speedrunning community has created elaborate categories and strategies for completing Minecraft as quickly as possible, turning the open-ended game into competitive timed challenge with world records measured in minutes. The main category, Random Seed Glitchless, requires players to defeat the Ender Dragon starting from Random World, finding Stronghold, gathering Eyes of Ender, obtaining Blaze Rods, and executing Dragon Fight efficiently. World records have dropped from hours to under 10 minutes through optimized strategies, tool progression routes, and risky techniques like bed bombing the dragon. Speedrunners have developed deep knowledge of game mechanics, probability distributions of crucial resources like blaze rods and ender pearls, and optimal decision trees for different situations. The category has subcategories for different versions, seeds, and rule sets, ensuring runners can compete in niches matching their preferences. The speedrunning community creates tutorials, analyses, records for potential improvements, and discusses strategy evolution as new techniques are discovered. Major speedrun achievements generate excitement throughout Minecraft community, with world records celebrated and analyzed. The existence of thriving speedrunning scene shows Minecraft's mechanical depth. The game designed for open-ended creativity also contains robust enough systems to support competitive optimization play that the same game satisfies both creative builders and competitive optimizers. Minecraft Championships, abbreviated as MCC, is a monthly tournament featuring popular Minecraft content creators competing in various minigames for charity, creating crossover events that bring together different corners of Minecraft's content creation community. The tournament's format includes multiple games testing different skills, from parkour to survival to team communication, ensuring well-rounded winners rather than specialists. MCC has introduced millions of viewers to Minecraft content creators they might not otherwise discover, creating networking opportunities and collaboration between creators. The charity focus gives the competition positive purpose beyond simply determining winners, with hundreds of thousands of dollars raised for various causes. The production values and organization have improved over time, creating professional esports-like experience while maintaining casual fun atmosphere appropriate to Minecraft's brand. MCC demonstrates that Minecraft can support spectator-friendly competitive content, that watching skilled players compete is entertaining even for audiences who might not play at high levels themselves. The event's success has inspired similar community tournaments, creating an ecosystem of Minecraft competitive events beyond traditional esports scenes focused on PvP combat. Content creators and YouTube explosion around Minecraft created celebrity phenomenon, where individual creators attracted tens of millions of subscribers through Minecraft content, building careers and influencing how millions experience the game. Creators like DanTDM, popular MMOs, and Sky Does Minecraft in the early to mid-2010s attracted primarily young audiences with energetic, family-friendly content. Later, creators like Technoblade, Filza, and Wilbur Soot built communities around different content styles, from technical skill showcases to role-play storytelling. The Dream Team's rise in 2020 demonstrated that Minecraft content could still find massive new audiences even a decade after the game's release, that each generation of content creators brought fresh perspectives that attracted new viewers. The collaborative nature of Minecraft content, where creators frequently appeared in each other's videos, created an interconnected web of content that kept viewers engaged across multiple channels. Minecraft content on YouTube demonstrated platform's power to create celebrities and influence culture, that successful content creators wielded influence rivaling traditional media figures. The ongoing success of Minecraft content years after release showed the game's enduring appeal and content creators' ability to find fresh angles and formats that kept content feeling new even when using a decade-old game. Hermitcraft and other multiplayer SMP, survival multiplayer, servers featuring content creators became popular content format where viewers followed ongoing collaborative survival worlds with emergent storylines and massive community projects. Hermitcraft, the most famous creator SMP, has run for multiple seasons since 2012, with each season featuring elaborate bases, community events, mini-games, and economy systems created by members. The long-form narrative nature of SMP content, where viewers follow worlds over months watching stories and builds develop, created investment similar to television series. The collaborative projects, shopping districts, games, large builds, showcased what was possible when skilled builders worked together toward common goals. The social dynamics and friendly rivalries between members created entertainment beyond just skilled building, with personality and community becoming as important as technical ability. Hermitcraft demonstrated that Minecraft content could appeal to adult audiences who appreciated technical skill, creativity, and community dynamics rather than just frantic energy aimed at children. The success inspired numerous other creator SMPs, each with different themes, rules, and member compositions, creating diverse options for viewers interested in this content format. Dream SMP became a cultural phenomenon in 2020 and 21, a roleplay server where content creators improvised elaborate storylines with character arcs, betrayals, nations rising and falling, and dramatic plot twists that attracted millions of viewers invested in the unfolding narrative. Unlike traditional SMPs focused on building and survival, Dream SMP prioritized storytelling, with members treating it as improvisational theater using Minecraft as the stage. Major plot events were treated as must-watch live entertainment, with hundreds of thousands of viewers tuning in to watch pivotal moments unfold in real time. The server demonstrated that Minecraft could serve as foundation for collaborative storytelling, that the game's systems could support narrative experiences when creators committed to roleplay and audience bought into suspension of disbelief. The intense fan engagement, fan art, fan fiction, analysis videos showed that Minecraft content had transcended gaming to become broader entertainment phenomenon where viewers consumed content like television drama. The server's eventual conclusion, after 2 years, left lasting impact on Minecraft content culture, proving that large-scale collaborative storytelling in Minecraft could attract and maintain massive audiences when executed with commitment to narrative craft. Minecraft music and parodies became their own genre, with songs like Revenge by Captain Sparkles becoming genuine cultural touchstones, recognized far beyond Minecraft's player base, accumulating billions of views and becoming nostalgic artifacts of 2010's internet culture. Parody songs set Minecraft-themed lyrics to popular music, creating content that was simultaneously about Minecraft and about the songs being parodied, doubling appeal. Revenge, a parody of Usher's DJ Got Us Fallin' in Love, became so popular that many younger viewers didn't know the original song, knowing only the Minecraft version. The production quality of popular Minecraft music videos, with elaborate machinima and often surprising vocal talent, made them genuinely entertaining beyond novelty value. These songs became nostalgic touchstones for millions who grew up with Minecraft, capable of triggering powerful memories of childhood gaming experiences. The music scene around Minecraft demonstrated the game's cultural penetration, that it had become important enough in people's lives to inspire creative works in different media, that Minecraft wasn't just a game but a cultural phenomenon generating art across multiple disciplines. The Minecraft movie, in development for years at Warner Brothers with various directors and approaches, represents Minecraft's transition from game to broader multimedia franchise. The film has faced challenges finding the right approach. Should it be animated or live action? Should it tell a specific story or focus on the open-ended creativity that defines Minecraft? Should it appeal primarily to children or try to reach broader audiences? The extended development suggests the difficulty of adapting Minecraft's gameplay-focused, non-narrative experience into traditional movie format. The eventual release and reception will significantly impact how Minecraft is perceived. Culturally successful film could introduce Minecraft to audiences who never played the game, while failure could be seen as inability to translate Minecraft's essence to different medium. The movie represents both opportunity and risk, chance to cement Minecraft's cultural legacy while also potentially disappointing fans who have strong feelings about how their beloved game should be represented. The challenges of the Minecraft movie demonstrate broader difficulties adapting games to film, particularly games like Minecraft that prioritize player-created stories over developer-written narratives. Merchandise and cultural presence of Minecraft extends to every conceivable product category, from clothing to toys to bedding to school supplies, making Minecraft imagery ubiquitous in children's lives and demonstrating the brand's commercial power. Minecraft toys, from Lego to action figures, allow physical play with Minecraft characters and scenarios, bridging digital and physical play. Clothing featuring Minecraft designs makes the game part of personal identity expression, with children choosing Minecraft shirts to signal their interest to peers. School supplies with Minecraft themes make everyday objects more appealing to children, leveraging brand affinity to make necessary items feel special. The merchandising demonstrates Minecraft's evolution from game to lifestyle brand, where Minecraft is identity category as much as entertainment product. The quality of official merchandise varies widely, with some products being genuinely well designed while others feel like cynical cash grabs slapping Minecraft imagery on low-quality items. The sheer volume of merchandise creates accessibility issues, where Minecraft's presence in every store makes it difficult for children from lower-income families to escape constant reminders of products they can't afford, raising questions about ethical boundaries of merchandising to children. Despite these concerns, the merchandise demonstrates Minecraft's cultural reach, that the game has become significant enough that countless companies want association with the brand, that Minecraft has achieved rare cultural status where merchandise itself becomes desirable regardless of inherent utility. Minecraft in education and therapy extends beyond formal education edition to various professional uses, with therapists using Minecraft to help children with autism develop social skills and teachers across subjects finding creative applications. Therapists appreciate Minecraft's structured environment and clear rules that help children with autism feel safe while practicing social interaction through multiplayer. Speech therapists use Minecraft to motivate reluctant talkers by requiring verbal communication for collaborative building projects. Occupational therapists use Minecraft's fine motor controls and planning requirements to work on executive function skills. History teachers have students recreate historical buildings and cities. Geography teachers use biomes to teach about ecosystems. Math teachers use building projects to teach geometry and measurement. The flexibility of Minecraft as educational and therapeutic tool demonstrates its fundamental appeal, that the combination of structure and freedom, of clear rules and creative possibility, serves learning and development across many contexts. The professional use of Minecraft legitimizes gaming generally, showing that digital play can serve serious purposes beyond entertainment, that games can be tools for learning and healing when deployed thoughtfully by trained professionals. Building competitions and showcases celebrate Minecraft's creative possibilities, with events like Build the Earth, attempting to recreate the entire planet at 1-to-1 scale, and competitions awarding prizes for best builds in various categories. Build the Earth, one of the most ambitious community projects, coordinates thousands of builders to recreate real-world locations in Minecraft, preserving architectural heritage and creating virtual tourism possibilities. Competitions, hosted by servers, content creators, or events like Minecon challenge builders to create impressive builds under constraints like time limits or theme requirements, testing skill under pressure. The building community has developed specialized techniques like world edit tools that allow efficient large-scale construction, gradient practices for realistic organic shapes, and custom resource packs for expanded palette options. The builds showcased in these competitions often push technical boundaries: enormous cities, fantastical landscapes, working mechanical contraptions, demonstrating that Minecraft's simple blocks can create stunning complexity and beauty. The community's appreciation for impressive builds, sharing them on social media and video showcases, creates recognition and motivation for builders to continue improving and attempting more ambitious projects. The building scene demonstrates that Minecraft serves as legitimate artistic medium, that virtual construction is art form deserving recognition, and that skill in Minecraft building is genuine craft worthy of respect. Redstone computers and technical achievements represent the extreme end of Minecraft engineering, with players building functional computers entirely from redstone components that can be programmed and run simple programs. These computers implement basic computer architecture, ALU, registers, RAM, program counters, using redstone logic gates, creating massive constructions that can perform calculations, play simple games, or execute programs. The technical complexity required to design and build these computers demonstrates deep understanding of both computer science and Minecraft's mechanics, representing hundreds or thousands of hours of planning and construction. While these computers are millions of times slower than real computers and have tiny memory capacities, their existence proves that Minecraft systems are Turing complete and capable of universal computation. The builders of these computers often document their work in detailed videos and explanations, teaching computer architecture principles through practical demonstration in Minecraft's accessible visual environment. The technical achievement impresses even viewers who don't fully understand the principles, as the sheer scale and dedication are apparent. These projects demonstrate that Minecraft rewards technical knowledge and methodical engineering, that the game can serve as learning environment for complex computer science concepts, and that some players are driven by technical challenge as much as or more than by creative building or survival gameplay. Survival challenges and hardcore mode push Minecraft's difficulty, with hardcore mode permadeltaing worlds upon death and creating stakes that make every decision meaningful and every dangerous situation genuinely tense. Hardcore mode forces cautious, methodical play, where rushing into situations or taking unnecessary risks can end runs representing hundreds of hours of investment. The challenge creates different relationship with the game, where preparation and risk assessment become crucial skills, where you memorize escape routes and keep backup gear because losing everything to careless death is unacceptable. Long-running hardcore worlds represent significant achievements, with players who have maintained the same world for years through thousands of hours of careful play being celebrated for their dedication and skill. Hardcore mode has spawned various challenge formats reaching specific milestones, obtaining all achievements, building certain projects, giving structure to runs beyond simple survival. Content creators streaming hardcore runs create narrative tension naturally, as viewers know that any mistake could be fatal and end the run permanently, making every dangerous situation compelling viewing. Hardcore mode demonstrates that Minecraft's baseline survival difficulty is adjustable to create more challenging experiences for players who find normal survival too easy, that the game can serve both casual players and those seeking genuine difficulty, ensuring Minecraft remains engaging across skill levels. The philosophy of creative mode acknowledges that for many players, Minecraft's appeal lies purely in building and creating without survival concerns or resource limitations. Creative mode provides infinite resources, flying ability, and invulnerability, removing all barriers between imagination and implementation. Some players exclusively use creative mode, never engaging with survival mechanics, treating Minecraft as three-dimensional art software rather than a game with challenges to overcome. The architectural possibilities in creative mode are limitless, with builders creating entire cities, recreating real-world buildings at enormous scale, and constructing fantastical structures that would be impractical to build in survival. Creative mode serves as planning tool for survival projects, allowing players to prototype builds and work out designs before committing resources in survival worlds. The existence of creative mode alongside survival demonstrates Minecraft's broad appeal, that the game successfully serves both players who want challenge and progression and those who want pure creative expression without obstacles, that neither approach is more valid than the other, that Minecraft is whatever players want it to be. Minecraft's influence on other games is visible throughout the industry, with countless titles adopting survival, crafting mechanics, procedural generation, and blocky aesthetics, inspired by Minecraft's success. Survival games like Rust, Ark, and Subnautica incorporate crafting systems where players gather resources and combine them into tools, following Minecraft's template. Block-based building games like Trove and Roblox directly adopt Minecraft's visual style and construction mechanics. Even games that don't directly copy Minecraft show influence. The emphasis on player-driven content, user-generated experiences, and sandbox freedom that characterizes modern indie games partly descends from Minecraft, proving these approaches could find massive commercial success. The Minecraft-like has become recognized genre descriptor, joining platformer, shooter, and other established categories. Some developers resent being compared to Minecraft even when similarities are apparent, feeling that the comparison is reductive or that their games have distinct identities. The debate around Minecraft's influence demonstrates how completely it reshaped expectations for what games could be, establishing new patterns that subsequent developers either deliberately followed or unconsciously absorbed from gaming's changed landscape. Procedural generation as art form is exemplified by Minecraft's world generation, which creates infinite, unique worlds following consistent rules, demonstrating how algorithms can generate beauty and compelling environments without human hand placing every element. The world generation algorithms balance randomness with structured terrain, feels natural and navigable rather than chaotic. Biomes create variety without jarring transitions. Structures like villages and temples appear frequently enough to feel discoverable without being so common they lose specialness. The generation sometimes produces unexpected beauty, mountains in perfect positions to catch sunlight dramatically, natural arches over rivers, plateaus with commanding views that feels designed even though it emerged from mathematical processes. Seeds that generate particularly interesting worlds become famous, shared among players who want to experience those specific geographic features. The success of Minecraft's procedural generation influenced how other games approach randomly generated worlds, proving that algorithms could create compelling content and that handcrafted content wasn't necessary for beauty and player engagement. The procedural generation philosophy aligns with Minecraft's broader design, simple rules creating infinite variety, player creativity filling in narrative and meaning, the game providing canvas rather than complete picture. The soundtrack's emotional impact comes from C418's ambient compositions that capture perfectly the solitary wonder of exploring infinite worlds, creating melancholic beauty that makes Minecraft feel contemplative and meaningful despite its simple presentation. The music plays rarely and unpredictably, making each track's appearance feel special and enhancing emotional impact by avoiding repetition and overexposure. Tracks like Sweden and Minecraft have become synonymous with Minecraft itself, instantly recognizable and capable of triggering powerful nostalgia and emotion in players who spent formative years with the game. The music's minimalist piano-driven compositions match Minecraft's aesthetic philosophy. Perfectly simple elements combined carefully create profound emotional responses. Less can be more. Subtlety often works better than bombast. The soundtrack exists outside the game as standalone album that many listen to while studying or working, using Minecraft's music as ambient background that enhances focus while creating gentle emotional atmosphere. The music's ability to function independently of the game while remaining inseparably linked to it demonstrates its quality as composition. That C418 created music that would have stood on its own merits even without Minecraft's success, but which gains additional meaning and emotional resonance from association with millions of players' personal Minecraft memories. Why Minecraft endures more than 15 years after its initial release comes down to fundamental design decisions that prioritized player agency, creative freedom, and infinite possibility over scripted content or predetermined experiences. The game never tells you what to do or how to play. Every player's Minecraft journey is unique based on their interests, priorities, and imagination. The infinite procedurally generated worlds ensure you can always start fresh, explore new terrain, discover new places, never exhausting content because content is mathematically unlimited. The regular updates add new features and content without invalidating previous work or forcing players to abandon established worlds, ensuring that worlds you've invested thousands of hours into remain relevant and compatible with new features. The modding community and custom content creators provide infinite variations and experiences beyond vanilla Minecraft, ensuring that players who exhaust official content can find community-created alternatives that feel fresh and different. Most fundamentally, Minecraft taps into basic human drives to create, to explore, to overcome challenges, to express ourselves, to build things that persist and matter in ways that feel meaningful despite the abstract, blocky medium. The game respects player time and creativity by never deleting your work or forcing you to start over, by allowing you to play at your own pace without time pressure or forced progression, by making every play session valuable, whether you spend it building, exploring, mining, or simply existing in spaces you've created. The game's accessibility across ages makes Minecraft rare among games and appealing genuinely to everyone, from young children to adults, creating shared cultural touchstone that families can enjoy together across generational divides. Young children can play creatively in safe environments, expressing themselves through building without needing to master complex controls or understand sophisticated mechanics. Older children engage with survival challenges, redstone engineering, and social multiplayer, finding depth and complexity that grows with their capabilities. Teenagers use Minecraft as social space, playing with friends and creating memories through shared experiences. Adults find meditative relaxation in Minecraft's repetitive activities, mining, farming, building, or intellectual challenges in technical projects and elaborate builds. The visual simplicity and intuitive controls make Minecraft accessible to non-gamers who might be intimidated by complex modern games, while the mechanical depth satisfies experienced gamers seeking optimization and mastery. Parents who normally don't understand or approve of their children's gaming often make exceptions for Minecraft, recognizing its creative and educational value, sometimes even playing alongside children and discovering their own enjoyment. The multi-generational appeal creates situations where grandparents build with grandchildren, where parents and children collaborate on projects, where Minecraft becomes family activity rather than isolating individual entertainment. Cross-platform play evolution has made Minecraft one of the most connected games, with Bedrock Edition allowing players on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, mobile devices, and Windows 10 to play together seamlessly, regardless of platform. This crossplay eliminates traditional barriers where friends on different platforms couldn't play together, ensuring that everyone can participate regardless of hardware choices. The technical achievement of making cross-platform play work reliably across such diverse devices from phones to consoles to PCs demonstrates Microsoft and Mojang's commitment to accessibility and unified community. Java Edition remains separate for technical and historical reasons, creating two distinct Minecraft versions with slightly different features and communities. But even this split serves player interests by preserving Java's modding capabilities while providing Bedrock's broader platform support. The crossplay philosophy reflects modern gaming's shift away from platform exclusivity toward unified experiences where players matter more than what device they use. For Minecraft specifically, crossplay ensures that the game's massive player base remains connected and that no one is excluded from multiplayer experiences based on their hardware, maintaining Minecraft's inclusive community culture. Minecraft Dungeons and spin-offs demonstrate Minecraft's brand strength and ability to support experiences beyond the core block-building gameplay. Though with mixed success in capturing what makes Minecraft special, Minecraft Dungeons, an action RPG dungeon crawler, uses Minecraft's aesthetic and mobs while playing nothing like Minecraft itself, appealing to players who love Minecraft's visuals but want different gameplay. The game found modest success but didn't approach Minecraft's cultural impact, showing that the aesthetic alone doesn't carry the same appeal as the core sandbox experience. Minecraft Story Mode by Telltale Games told narrative adventures in Minecraft's world, providing stories where the core game had none, but these too found limited audiences compared to the main game. These spin-offs demonstrate both Minecraft's strength as brand, that the name and aesthetic can sell entirely different types of games, and its uniqueness, that the core Minecraft experience isn't easily replicated or replaced even by competent games wearing Minecraft's skin. The spin-offs serve as alternatives for players who want Minecraft-flavored experiences without survival or building focus, filling niche without competing with or replacing the original game. The future of Minecraft remains bright, with Microsoft's commitment to ongoing development, the game's continuing sales and player growth, and the cultural foundation ensuring relevance for years or decades to come. Updates will likely continue adding biomes, mobs, structures, and mechanics that expand possibility space while maintaining core identity. The community will continue creating mods, maps, and content that keeps the game fresh for players seeking new experiences. New generations will discover Minecraft as their first game, beginning their own journeys just as countless millions have before them. The game's fundamental design is essentially timeless. The appeal of creative building, exploration, and survival doesn't depend on contemporary trends or graphics technology, meaning Minecraft can remain relevant indefinitely as long as development maintains quality and respects what makes the game special. The challenges ahead include balancing innovation with preservation of core identity, maintaining engaged community while growing player base, and continuing to surprise players who have experienced everything the game currently offers. The steady cadence of updates and Microsoft's resource commitment suggests that Minecraft will continue evolving thoughtfully, adding value without destroying what players love, ensuring that the game that defined a generation continues serving future generations. Community theories and mysteries within Minecraft create folklore around ambiguous elements and unsolved questions, with players constructing elaborate explanations for things the developers never explicitly addressed. The ancient builders theory proposes that strongholds, temples, monuments, and other structures were built by a lost civilization that the player is rediscovering, explaining why these structures exist, abandoned in generated worlds. The theory examines the architectural styles, the presence of traps and challenges, the valuable loot left behind, constructing narrative about who these builders were and what happened to them. The theory isn't officially confirmed but feels right to many players, providing narrative framework that makes Minecraft's world feel lived in rather than arbitrarily generated. The Enderman's connection to this ancient civilization that Enderman might be transformed, ancient builders trapped in the end, adds tragic element to the game's backstory. These theories demonstrate how players create meaning and story in games that don't provide explicit narratives, how human minds naturally construct explanations and connections even in abstract systems, how Minecraft's ambiguity regarding lore allows players to fill gaps with imagination rather than being told exactly what everything means. The theories enrich the game by adding depth and mystery, making exploration feel like archaeology, where you're piecing together clues about vanished civilizations rather than simply finding randomly generated structures. Herobrine legend is Minecraft's most famous creepypasta, an invented story about a mysterious figure with default Steve skin but white eyes, who supposedly haunts single-player worlds, building pyramids, creating tunnels, and appearing just at the edge of vision before vanishing. The legend began with a creepypasta post including a doctored screenshot showing the mysterious figure, and despite never existing in the game, Herobrine became so famous that Mojang began including removed Herobrine in update patch notes as a joke. The legend demonstrates how communities create folklore around games, how stories spread and mutate through retelling, how creepypastas tap into primal fears about being watched and not being alone when you think you are. Children genuinely believed in Herobrine, with many players reporting seeing him in their worlds, despite this being impossible, demonstrating how suggestion and pattern seeking can create perceived experiences that feel real. The phenomenon also showed Minecraft's cultural penetration, that the game was significant enough in children's lives that scary stories about it felt important, and that these stories spread through playgrounds and schools like traditional folklore. Mojang's good-humored acknowledgement of Herobrine in patch notes shows awareness of community culture and willingness to participate in jokes rather than dismissing fan-created legends. The Herobrine legend lives on despite everyone knowing it's fictional, demonstrating that some stories are too good to let die, that shared cultural myths serve social functions beyond literal truth. The far lands and world boundaries represent Minecraft's technical limits made visible, areas where the world generation algorithm broke down in older versions, creating surreal landscapes of glitched terrain that became legendary among players who made pilgrimages to see them. The far lands occurred about 12.5 million blocks from spawn, where floating point precision errors caused terrain generation to produce impossible vertical walls, infinitely complex patterns, and reality-breaking geometry. While the far lands were fixed in later versions, their legend persists, with players on old versions documenting journeys to reach these mysterious boundaries through months or years of walking. The journey to the far lands became its own challenge and meditation, with players like Kurt J. Mack walking toward them for years, streaming the journey and raising money for charity in the process. The far lands represent Minecraft's surprising humanity, that even games have limits and edges, that these technical boundaries created accidental beauty and mystery, that glitches can be features when they inspire wonder rather than frustration. The modern world border at 30 million blocks provides hard limit, but lacks the surreal beauty of the organic farlands, glitches, demonstrating how some technical limitations created more interesting experiences than their polished solutions. The farlands remain symbolic in Minecraft culture, representing the game's early mysterious quality and the appeal of exploring toward impossible horizons even when you know you'll never arrive. And so we reach the end of our journey through Minecraft's infinite worlds, having traced the game's evolution from simple indie project to cultural phenomenon, having explored its mechanical depths and community creativity, having understood why this game about placing blocks has touched hundreds of millions of lives and changed gaming forever. We have seen how Minecraft's success came from respecting player creativity and agency, from providing tools rather than prescribing experiences, from understanding that simple systems can create infinite complexity when players bring imagination and dedication. We have discovered that Minecraft's legacy extends far beyond the game itself. It has influenced how games are designed, how communities form around creative works, how digital spaces can facilitate learning and expression, how games can transcend entertainment to become platforms for education, therapy, art, and social connection. As you drift into final deep sleep, imagine yourself in your own Minecraft world, the one you've built over countless hours, every block placed with intention, every structure representing decisions and dreams, made real through patient work. Imagine standing on a hillside as the sun rises over landscapes you've shaped, buildings you've constructed, farms you've planted, knowing that this world exists because you willed it into being, that Minecraft gave you the canvas but you created the meaning. The infinite worlds wait patiently for your return, ready to be shaped by your imagination, ready to become whatever you envision. The blocks wait to be placed, the caves wait to be explored, the challenges wait to be overcome, and most importantly, the freedom waits. Freedom to create, to play, to experiment, to build, to simply exist in spaces you've made your own. Sleep peacefully, knowing that Minecraft's magic is real, that the joy you've felt while playing is genuine and valuable, that the time you've invested has created something meaningful, even if it exists only as data and pixels. The game that began with one person's weekend experiment has become something larger than anyone could have imagined, a shared cultural experience that connects millions across ages, languages, and backgrounds through the simple joy of placing blocks and building dreams. Minecraft endures because it taps into something fundamental about human nature, our need to create, to express, to leave our mark on the world, to build things that matter and that last. In Minecraft's infinite worlds, we are all architects of our own experiences, all artists painting with blocks, all storytellers writing narratives through our actions and creations. Good night, dear friends, and may your dreams be filled with infinite worlds waiting to be explored, with mountains waiting to be climbed, with structures waiting to be built, with adventures waiting to be lived. May you wake tomorrow inspired to create something beautiful, to start a new project, to return to the world you've been building, and add one more block, one more room, one more detail to the ever-growing expression of your imagination. And may you always remember that Minecraft's greatest achievement isn't the technology or the graphics or the mechanics, but rather the way it makes you feel powerful and creative, capable and free, limited only by imagination, and willing to invest the time to make your visions real. Sleep well, and may all your crafting recipes succeed. May all your mining expeditions find diamonds. May all your builds turn out exactly as you imagined. and may all your Minecraft adventures continue bringing the joy and wonder that have made this simple game about blocks one of the most important and beloved experiences in all of gaming history.